Students, today we'll be discussing the Hindu newspaper, that is the April 30th, the Thursday. So in today's newspaper we'll be looking at what are the important issues from an exam point of view, both from prelims as well as mains perspective in the ಏನೇನು important ಇದೆ. Let us take a look. So let us take a look at the headlines in today's newspaper. We can see that in the headlines they mentioned that the Home Ministry clears the interstate movement of stranded people. So as we know, as we have read in newspapers in previous days, that the problem of the migrant labor was a main thing which the government was looking to address. ಏನಿದು issue ಆಗಿದ್ದು? You can see many people who had moved from different states to the other states for jobs, for work. They were stranded because all kind of transportation facilities was suspended. So adrinda, now you can see the Home Ministry has given a clearance that the interstate movement of stranded people can be brought about. So idrinda exam point of view ಏನು ಅಂತ important ಇಲ್ಲ, to just to give a quick recap and what is happening with respect to the national issues ಅಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕು. And the second national issue you can see here, that India has reported 70 deaths, which is the highest in a single day, which has been reported so far. But now let us look to the other important issue, which I feel it is important for the exam. See here, we can see that India has continued to remain in the priority watch list of the United States Trade Representative USTR for lack of adequate intellectual property rights enforcement. And this annual special report, it is mentioned in this annual special report. And who gives this annual special report? It is given by USTR. Please remember, it is not any UN organization. It is given by the United States representative, trade representative. So now let us understand what is this priority watch list. Priority watch list andre ಏನು? Priority watch list and watch list are the countries that are identified by the annual special report 301. The priority watch list countries are judged by, as I said, US trade representative, that is the USTR, having serious intellectual property rights deficiencies that require increased USTR attention. Whereas watch list are the countries that have been identified by the USTR as having serious intellectual property rights deficiencies. Andre ಈ ವಾಚ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ ವಾಚ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಿಂತ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಬೌವ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್? ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ ವಾಚ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ನಾವು ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ intellectual property rights deficiency, will be upgraded to watch list countries. So USTR can move countries from one list to the other or remove them from the list throughout the year. Now why India has been placed under this list is that because lack of sufficient measurable improvement in the intellectual property framework, and secondly the long standing IP challenges which the US businesses are facing in India. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, you can see under the Indian intellectual property laws we give recognition to something called as what we call as compulsory licensing. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು, for example, in drug sector or pharmaceutical sector, the Indian government can give the manufacturing licenses overriding the what you can say, the patent from a foreign company to a local Indian company, because they feel that that particular drug is very important for many people in India, especially the weaker section of the society. But the cost of the drug is very costly as it has been patented by the foreign company. To make the cost cheaper, you can see the India can give compulsory licensing, which has been also recognized as legal under the WTO provisions. So this is the reason why the USTR has placed India under what we call as the priority watch list. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಇಂದ ನೀವೇನೇನು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು, who releases this report? It is released by United States Trade Representative, that is USTR. ಅದೊಂದು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾನ ಯಾವ ಲಿಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ ವಾಚ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್. And what is the step or what is the list above the priority watch list? It is the watch list ಅಂತ, where they'll identify countries having serious intellectual property rights deficiencies. So friends, these are the things which you have to remember from the exam point of view. So prelims ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ಯಾರು ಈ priority watch list announce ಮಾಡೋದು. It is announced under the annual special report 301, and who releases this report? USTR. So let us move on to the next issue. Let us see what else is important in today's newspaper. Yeah, coming to the other thing, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು in this part. Here, recently Supreme Court has given a decision, and now they have told NEET, that is the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, it is mandatory for the admissions to medical colleges run by religious and linguistic minorities. So ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಈ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ many of the religious and linguistic minorities had appealed to the court telling that the NEET won't apply for them. But however, the court, you can see here, has dismissed the arguments by the management of several minority-run medical institutions, including the Christian Medical Welfare Association, bringing them under the ambit of the NEET. Now, what is Supreme Court telling is that this NEET does not violate any form of the fundamental rights. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 3 of the Indian constitution with respect to the fundamental rights. Here article 28 of the constitution, it gives rights for the religious minorities, or article 29, it gives the right for the religious and linguistic minorities to maintain and administer the institutions of their choice. So ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದು ಯಾವುದೇ ತರದ್ದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 29 ನ ವೈಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, hence NEET applies to the minority colleges anta. So this is one thing which you have to keep in your mind. So please read more about the fundamental rights chapter, because if you go to the static part, it is related to the fundamental rights. So let us move on to the next issue, and you can see here it is a sad thing yesterday that Irfan Khan, who is one of the well-known film actors, has passed away. But again, it's not so important for the exam, so we will not go deep into it. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೀಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಡ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ರೈಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮೊಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ, NCMC. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ NCMC ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ the National Common Mobility Card. Now what does that mean? Let us go into it, because it prelims al barbodu. Recently, the Prime Minister launched the indigenously developed National Common Mobility Card to enable people to pay multiple kind of transport charges, including metro services, toll tax across one country. Andre ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಬಸ್ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ತೊಗೊಬೇಕಾ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್. ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ನೀವು ಮೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್. ನಾಳೆ ರೈಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್. ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದಟ್, ನೀವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪೇ ಅದರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಆಸ್ ರಿಟೇಲ್ ಶಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಪಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಓಕೆ, ಈವನ್ ವಿಡ್ರಾ ದಿ ಮನಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ what do you say, the mechanism for the consumer. So ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಡಿಂದ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮೊಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಟು ಫಾರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ what you can say, the mass mode of transportation. And now you can see in 2018 the Delhi government has also launched a common mobility card for traveling in metro trains in Delhi and cluster buses. These cards, but other than particularly Delhi introduced ಮಾಡಿದ cards ಅಲ್ಲಿ, however they were not used for paying parking fees and also the toll the toll booths in the capital for retail and or for retail. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ. So let us see the ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಇಂಡಿಜಿನಿಯಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. So this is for the first time India has indigenously developed a payment ecosystem for transport which consists of the NCMC card, the Swikar and the Swachlit Kriya automatic fare collection system, Swagat, that is Swachlit gate, a gate card reader system which is based on the NCMC standards. These three together which will enable us to use the national mobility card across the country without conflict with the existing POS machine. These cards are issued both by public and private sector banks, and they can be used as the same way as you use your credit card, debit card or the prepaid cards. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ನ ಇದು ಯಾವ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಹೌಸಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ brought for the National Common Mobility Card. So ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, it is the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So we have three systems in place, that is the NCMC card, Swikar card and the Swagat. Okay, please remember all these things. They can ask you this in prelims. So prelims ಇದರಿಂದ ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. Now let us move on to the next piece. Let us see what else is important in today's newspaper, and let us try to know ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. And please remember, I am cancelling out ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ರೆಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇದೆ, these are the issues which I have felt that it is not important for the exam point of view. So our main intention here is to read the newspaper from an exam point of view at large. So ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ವೇಜ್ ಡೇ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಯೆಟ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ or it has been silent with respect to the implementation of compulsory payment of wages for the lockdown period. ಆಯಿತಾ, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದಿ ಪವರ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಸಚ್ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್. ಈ ಎರಡು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ that you have to make compulsory wage payment during the lockdown period because no work has been done during that period by the labor to protect the interest of the workers anta. So idana ondu nenpitkolli, and let us move on next to see what else is important in today's newspaper. Very important ide anta nodana. So moving into the Karnataka page, you can see that illu ondu ಏನು important ide andre, now recently what the union government has done is that they have relaxed certain provisions under the PCPNDT Act. Yenidu PCPNDT Act? Let us understand. Now PCPNDT Act is basically the prenatal diagnostic techniques prohibition of sex selection rules 1996 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. What this PCPNDT does is that ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ಲಿನಿಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾಸೌಂಡ್ ಮೆಷಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ, that you cannot use these machines for determination of the sex of the fetus. Hence ಯಾರೇ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರು they have to record the detailed record of the patient should be maintained by these centers. ಅಂದರೆ it will help to control the misuse of the what you can say the ultrasound machines for determining the sex of the fetus. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ if they come to know it is a female child, it will lead to female infanticide, ಅಂದರೆ ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಫೀಟಿಸೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಗರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೇ ತೆಗ್ಸಾಕ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಈ PCPNDT ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ತಂದಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ಲಿ ಟು ವಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ರಶ್. Detailed documentation of the scans is a time consuming process, and the relaxation would help the scanning centers to spend less time on the technical formalities and more work on the actual work. So now what is the problem here? What many of the women groups have told, yeah, from the COVID perspective it might be a good thing, but it can also lead to many cases where people will misuse it for determining the sex of the fetus, and ultimately it will lead to female feticide. So friends, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫೀಟಿಸೈಡ್ಗೂ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಿಸೈಡ್ಗೂ ಏನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ, ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫೀಟಿಸೈಡ್ ದ ಫೀಟಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬಾರ್ಟೆಡ್. ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಿಸೈಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟು ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಾಯಿಸೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಿಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ನೋ, especially for the newcomers ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, it will help. What is the difference between female feticide and female infanticide? So the prenatal diagnostic techniques, it helps to prevent the female feticide, ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ರಿಂದನೇ you can see many women organizations or activists have opposed the relaxation given to the prenatal diagnostic rules. Okay, so I hope you understood this particular issue. And moving on, let us see what else is there in the newspaper. Now you can see that even actually we have discussed before also in the classroom sessions that you know that to reduce the payment of the government employees, the government has to pass a law. So since the state legislature is not in session, the Kerala government is looking to pass an ordinance. And if you go to your basics of your polity, ordinance can be passed both by the governor as well as the president of India on the recommendation of the cabinet. And ordinance has the same lawmaking powers to that of the parliament as well as the state legislature. So further information about ordinance, please refer your Lakshmikant book in the polity section. Now let us move on. What else is important in today's newspaper? You can see that here ಕೇರಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೇನು ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 221 ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 221 ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. The Article 221 of the Constitution said that the High Court judges are paid salaries determined by the Parliament. So who determines the salaries of the High Court judges? Is the Parliament, and they cannot be varied for their disadvantage after the appointment. Means here the state government or the state legislature does not have the power to reduce the salaries of the High Court judges. That is why they have told exempt the judge salaries anta. So please remember, the salaries of the High Court judges, it comes from the ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಫಂಡ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬರೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೂ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಟು ಬಿ ಪೇಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್? ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಆಯಿತಾ, ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ. Now moving on, let us move on to what else is there important in today's newspaper. Okay, now let us come to the editorial pages. See, this is a very good editorial, especially for the students of political science or even in your GS2 paper, yadu international relations ali. It's a beautiful written article by Suhasini Aidar. Now, I will tell you what is the gist of this article, what she is trying to communicate. ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನೀವು ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೇಜ್ನ ಬರೀ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಂದ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಲಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಸಿ, now here last month ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಯುನೈಟೆಡ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿಯೇಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್. ಏನು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್? 6+2+1 ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಆರ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯು ಎ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್. 6+2+1 round of talks was related to which country or which region? Iran, Afghanistan, Syria, etc. Something they can ask. So you can see it is related to Afghanistan. Now what is this 6+2+1? 6+2+1 indicates the 6 neighboring countries, that is China, Iran, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Please map work ಮಾಡಿ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ it also involves 2 global players, that is the United States of America and Russia, and +1 includes Afghanistan itself. And you can see India has been not included in this talks. So this is the whole article speaks about. Suhasini Aidar is trying to say that over a period of time we can see that India has been completely ignored, or India has been left out in the talks which is happening with respect to Afghanistan. So you can see Pakistan is involved, China is involved, USA is involved, Russia is involved, all the major powers are involved except India. So she is speaking about what should India do to make sure itself relevant in the talks with respect to Afghanistan. And the article also speaks about what is the Indian contribution to Afghanistan. See here, she mentions that India has provided 3 billion assistance in projects, and India has also developed the Chabahar port. India is also supporting the Afghan National Army, bureaucrats, doctors, and is provided training to them. And India also implemented 3 major projects, that is the Afghan Parliament, the Zaranj-Delaram Highway, and the Friendship Dam, that is the Salma Dam. And many of these things I have already told in the international relation classes. But you have to remember these things, because ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬೋತ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು ಟು ಶೇಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೇಜ್. So please read this editorial. I have marked the important points. You can go through it, because I'll post the copy of this newspaper later in the group. And let us move on to what else is important in today's newspaper. Critical. You can ignore the other important editor. Otherly, in ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ editorial pages ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ important ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Just you can quickly flip through, which is not so much important from the exam point of view. And this piece of editorial here, this author speaks about what are the limitations of online learning anta. And one of the important and very well raised point he speaks about digital divide. ಏನು digital divide ಅಂದರೆ it is the inequality with respect to digital access. So you can see not all people have access to good quality internet, nor all people might have smartphones to access to the digital learning anta. So this will be a drawback, especially for the students from the rural background. So ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವನು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಮೆನನ್ has spoken about in the editorial page. Please go through it. It will help you to add points, especially for your mains examination preparation. Now moving on to the next thing, let us look what else is important. Yeah, this is very important editorial page which has come. This is written by Antonio Guterres, who is the current UN secretary. Andre, what is he arguing andre? Corona or the COVID, it poses greater threat to women. So basically this editorial page has been written through a gender lens. Andre, looking at the corona issue from a woman angle, how does corona has impacted women? So he raises many important points such as domestic violence jasti agide, unemployment, especially it is in the informal sector, and you can see mainly women comprises of the informal sector. So they're going to lose jobs, it is going to cause unemployment, it is going to increase the burden of the women, especially in the domestic. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So these are the things which he has mentioned in this piece of editorial. So please read it, it is very nice, and it will help you especially for students of sociology, political science. ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ gender related questions bandaga, you can make use of this opinion or the points which are mentioned in this piece of article. Now let us move on to the next thing. Let us see what else is important in the newspaper. So idu new national news page bandre ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Why I have cancelled out? Because I feel that this is not so important from the exam point of view. Please, again I am reminding you, this is an attempt to read a newspaper, not generally. It is purely from an exam perspective. So UPSC, KPSC ಏನು important ಇದೆ ಆ perspectively we are trying to analyze the newspaper. One more factual thing, you can just note it down because SSC exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Government has appointed Tirumurti as the new envoy to UN, because you can see previously Syed Akbaruddin was the envoy. He recently retired. So the government has appointed Tirumurti as the new envoy to United Nations. And moving on, what else is important in today's newspaper? I'm just flipping through, which these are all not important from the exam point of view. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Yeah, here see in this piece of editorial page, this is an interview of Syed Akbaruddin, who is the former, who recently retired, the Indian Foreign Service officer, who is the envoy to UN. So ಈ editorial page ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, basically Mr. Akbaruddin is telling that if you take by any calculation that India qualifies to be a permanent member in the UN Security Council. So as in international relations classes, we had already discussed that why India deserves a permanent seat in UN Security Council, and what is India's arguments for demanding a permanent seat in the UN Security Council, and what are the roadblocks from India getting a permanent seat in the Security Council. G4 ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. The same thing which has been repeated in this particular interview session. Please go through it, it will help you. But what I want to draw your attention to, one of the important thing is this one. Plurilateralism is a concept which India has backed during the pandemic. Wouldn't multilateralism in many sense is under attack now? So friends, here you have to, I'll tell you the basic. What is the difference between plurilateral treaty and a multilateral treaty? In a multilateral treaty, it is a wider treaty where almost all the WTO members are involved in it. In a plurilateral treaty, it is a small number of WTO countries. They specifically deal with one specific issue at large. So in a plurilateral treaty, you can see a group of 20 WTO countries coming together and signing an agreement on any one particular issue. So you again if you're looking at how WTO is functioning, increasingly you're seeing the plurilateralism or the plurilateral treaty is becoming more important than the multilateralism. So you can see multilateralism is being pushed to the corner, and more number of countries, for example developed countries ಒಂದು 20 countries ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಒಂದು WTO ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಆ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ನೆಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ what is the difference between plurilateralism and multilateralism. Okay, so in multilateralism you can see there it works on the principle of consensus and all the countries come together, whereas in plurilateralism it is a small number of countries within WTO, they try to negotiate for an agreement on a particular issue. So this is what was important there. So let me move on to the next issue. Let us see what else is important. Yeah, in this particular you can see ILO has predicted that the world is going to lose around 16 billion jobs. Aita job loss ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ILO ವಾರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So let us first of all know about ILO from prelims point of view. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ prelims ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. So ILO is International Labour Organization. In 2019 it celebrated its 100th anniversary. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. It is the only tripartite UN agency. Tripartite ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ it brings governments, employers and workers together. It has 187 member countries and it looks to develop labor standards, develop policies, programs promoting decent work for both women and men. History of ILO ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ it was established in 1990, that is under the Treaty of Versailles. ಅಂದರೆ ILO was initially affiliated to League of Nations and in 1946 it became the first specialized agencies attached to United Nations. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. And what is the founding mission? Social justice is essential for universal and lasting peace, and it promotes internationally recognized human and labor rights, and it received a Nobel Prize in 1969. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, Nobel Prize ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ILOಗೆ 1969. With respect to India and ILO, India has ratification ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, Indian Parliament should agree to any of the agreements signed by the Indian government. India has ratified 6 of the 8 ILO conventions. That is the Forced Labour Convention, Abolition of Forced Labour Convention, Equal Remuneration Convention, Discrimination of Equal Employment Occupation Convention, Minimum Age Convention, Worst Form of Child Labour Convention. But remember, India has not signed 2 conventions. So India ಅವರು 8 labour conventions ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, 2 ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದು? One on freedom of association and protection of right to organize convention. So ಈ 2 ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ನ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವುದು? Right to organize and collective bargaining. So India has not ratified 2 conventions. Please remember, one is freedom of association and protection of right to organize convention, and second one is to right to organize and collective bargain convention. These are the 2 conventions which has been not signed or ratified by the Indian government. We have signed it, but we have not ratified it by the Indian government. And moving on to the next issue, you can see ಈ issue ಏನಿದೆ that the recent study on China's dams bring Brahmaputra into focus. ಅಂದರೆ recently there was a study done on the Mekong River. ಈ study ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, China is increasingly built dams on the Mekong River and it has reduced the flow of water into the lower rivers, into the lower riparian states of the Mekong River. ನಾವು ಏನು ನೋಡೋಣ, ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಚೈನಾ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್. Mekong River flows to which countries? China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia and Vietnam. Again I repeat, ಯಾವ country? China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia and Vietnam. ಇದು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, Mekong River ಯಾವ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಹರಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ದ ಮೆಕಾಂಗ್ ರಿವರ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಇದೆ, ಚೈನಾ ಮತ್ತು ಮಯನ್ಮಾರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಂಬೋಡಿಯಾ, ಲೇಯೋಸ್, ಥೈಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಯೆಟ್ನಾಂ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರ ರಿವರ್ ಮೇಲೂ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಚೈನಾ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೆನಿ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ because China is the upper riparian state, and river Brahmaputra river flows from China to India then to Bangladesh. So China dam building activities ಇಂದ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೂ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು. And the other important thing you have to know is that Zangmu hydro power station, it is a dam being built by China on Brahmaputra river. Please note it down. So you can see that in this piece of newspaper they have also spoken about what are the dams which China has operationalized. ಆಯಿತಾ, ಒಂದು ಝ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಮು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದಗು, ಝಿಯು, ಝಿಸಾ. These are the dams which have been developed by China on the Brahmaputra river. ಇದು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So let me read about Brahmaputra river. What is Brahmaputra river? Where does it arise anta? Brahmaputra meaning son of Brahma. The length of the river is 2900 kilometers. Idu elli source ande Chamayungdung glacier in Kailas range. Okay, and that source is very close to the Indus river also and Satluj. Mariam La anta nenpitkolli. Mariam La is a which separates Brahmaputra from the Manas Sarovar lake, and Brahmaputra flows southwards into southern Tibet. And in Tibet it passes to the depression which is formed by the Indus Sangpo structure ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರನ ಯಾರ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಪೋ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಟಿಬೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಯಲ್ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಹಿಮಾಲಯಾಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದು ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ರೀಜನ್, ಅದನ್ನು ದಿಹಾಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಿಯೋಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಹಾಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. And later it passes through Assam, then it enters Bangladesh near Dhubri, and in Bangladesh it flows in the name of river Jamuna, and Jamuna and Ganga mix to feather in the name of Padma. and Padma will again confluence with Meghna. Okay, so ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, this is about the information of Brahmaputra river. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ರಿವರ್ಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿ NCERT ಬುಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನಾವು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಎನಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್, it will cover your static subjects, polity, geography, international relations, economy. So ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ you have to quickly recall this thing. Now moving on to the next thing, banks borrowed 2000 crores from the RBI for mutual funds. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So let me show you what is mutual funds. A mutual fund is a fund that is created when large number of investors put in their money, and it is managed professionally by a qualified person with experience in investing in different asset classes such as shares, bonds, money market instruments such as call money, and other assets such as gold and property. Mutual funds should be compulsory registered with SEBI, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, compulsory registered with SEBI, and it also acts as a first wall of defense for all investors in these funds. A mutual fund is run by a group of qualified people who form a company called as an asset management company, and the operation of the asset management company are under the guidance of another group of people called as the trustees. There are different types of mutual funds in India which has to be registered under SEBI, such as equity mutual fund, debt mutual fund, hybrid mutual fund, and solution oriented mutual funds. I won't go into details of this because you can refer in your economy book or your economy classes. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಐ ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್? Yeah, these are the things. Sports column ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. So these are the things which are important for you in today's newspaper. So friends, I hope you understood what is the importance of newspaper reading, how to read a newspaper, and basically we'll be covering every day what are the important issues which are in the newspaper. So this is an attempt to ease the work on you, to help you to read the newspaper effectively and efficiently and reduce the time for reading a newspaper every day. So I hope this session helped you. So we'll meet again tomorrow in tomorrow's session of the Hindu newspaper. Till then, stay safe, take care.